Bitch, jump in that fire.
Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you a screenshot from a client of mine who she's had her in tranquil work for about a year now. Her target has came back. He's been doing well, been treating her right. But as you know, just because your target comes back while you have the intranquil, that doesn't mean that the intranquil work stops working. It goes on for as long as you have the item that I gave you, basically until you dismantle it. So whether that's a year or 2 years after the fact, it's still going on. So what she noticed recently is that, I guess you could say, a third party was handled by the spirit, or got a little love tap from the spirit. She says, and I'm going to read it for those of you who can't see the screenshot. You're probably watching the video while you're driving or something like that. But anyways, she says, so my husband's manager likes him, and I suspect she does because when he told her he got back with his wife, she started treating him badly and holding up his work. Tell me why he tells me she fell off of a bike yesterday and fell face first in the pavement. Big cut on her chin and knees fucked up with a big gash. And I know because I kept saying to myself in my room, LOL, I don't like her. So two things are happening here. Number one, and this varies between the clients and the situations. Sometimes the spirit becomes one with the client because the client has had the spirit for so long, to the point in which a client can simply just have an issue with the person and the spirit attacks them, or have an emotional reaction to something that a person may have done and the spirit attacks them. So she's favored in that way, in which she simply just can sit near where the intranquil work is and say how she doesn't like a specific person, and the intranquil spirit itself, or aka Anima Sola, goes after that person and handles them in the way in which she sees fit. Now, like I said, you have times in which it simply handles the third party anyways. Many people think that it's all solely about the target. No, sometimes if your target is entertaining other people, or even if other people are trying to entertain your target, even if your target isn't showing interest back, the spirit goes out and handles that person. I've seen in situations with other clients in which the spirit breaks a third party's breaks their legs, third party ends up getting shot. I've seen crazy instances in which Anima Sola handles the third party, but there's also times in which she doesn't. So even now, I even say sometimes if you see that your target is involved with somebody else, or there's a potential other person that your target could be involved with, go ahead and add breakup work on top of it as well, just in case the spirit doesn't handle the third party, because it's not all the time that the spirit tries to handle it. But like I said, for this client who is favored and has also become one with the spirit just because of overtime of having it so long, she can do that and it not be just sporadic in regards to whether or not the spirit is going to handle a third party. From what I've noticed, whether the spirit handles the target or the third party might be or if it's the third party that might be involved, depends on who likes who more. See, in this situation, the manager is the one that likes her husband, so that's when the spirit attacks the manager. But if it was more so her husband was trying to progress things, then the spirit most likely would have handled the husband. Granted, not always like that, but that's the logic I have came up with over the years of working with it, and that's what makes sense to me. But as you know, with this type of spirit, she's very sporadic, so you never really know who she's gonna hit and what exactly is the reason behind why they got hit until after the fact. Now, another screenshot I want to show is this second one. It says, "Hey Jericho, I have a question. Does the spirit make them depend on you to survive?" So basically, he has no money really because he put all his money in gold. I have to feed him, and he has most of his clothes here. He only goes home for 2 days, so he basically lives here, and he also depends on me for lunch to be made. It's actually crazy. Yeah, so a lot of times, especially with my women clients, I tell them, this is why you gotta know what you're getting yourself into, because some people don't like the aspect of their target having to depend on them. But the spirit does this because there's certain men who have to be broken down to nothing and have nothing for them to appreciate you and treat you right. It's sad, but that's the truth. So at times the spirit will break them down and take everything from them, because at that point they have nothing else to focus on but you and be with you. Whereas if they have everything and they got the cars, the watches, the girls, the house, it's easy for the focus to be on other things outside of you, and it makes it harder for that target to be pulled into your direction. But as for her, she's okay with it, so it doesn't really matter. But I've had clients in which their targets have lost everything or started to look ugly because of the work sitting on them, sitting on that target, to where they don't want the person no more because they don't have anything to their name, or they simply just don't look how they looked when they first got with them. But that's what you ask for when you get this type of work. Sometimes the spirit will go to great lengths just to bring the person back to you. The spirit, from what I've noticed, and I used to think otherwise, but from what I've noticed, it never does anything that's not necessary to the process. Everything it does, regardless of the aggressiveness or how intense the consequence may be, is usually for a reason. I haven't seen that it just does something for no reason. It just might be that you don't know the reason at that time, but you soon enough find out why it did what it did. And it's always to aid in the process to pulling the person back to you. And I hate to say it, but it's cliche. You just got to trust the process and trust the spirit knows what it's doing. But yeah, I just wanted to show that because I have gotten a lot of questions in regards to whether or not Anima Sola handles third parties and things like that. Like I said, she does, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket with it, because it's very sometimes whether or not she does it for whatever reason that may be with the spirit. So I always say, like I said, add on breakup work to really top it off and make sure that the third party gets gone. Leave no stone unturned, especially if your target doesn't live with you. The main thing you want to do if there's a third party is involved, put some breakup work on them. Now, if they live with you, that's a different story. It might have to be handled a different way. But yeah, that's all for this video. Like, share, and subscribe.